Hi everybody, Neil Kravitz here. Today I'd like to review my bonded retainer wires. Now I use two different types of wires. Both of them are sold by Reliance, which is a wonderful orthodontic company. In the upper arch, I use Retanium. I will do this upper 2-2. And in the lower arch, I will use stainless steel Ortho FlexTech lower 3-3. Now there's a different bonding technique for each one. Now both of them will use the same luting agents. I like Transbond LR. Occasionally I will use Tetric EvaFlow, but primarily I'm using LR. Now for the Retanium, I like to use interproximal floss loops. You have to shape the wire in the mouth. It is a little challenging. There is a little bit of pressure. Bond-to-braid is easier to use, but it breaks too often. So I much prefer the Retanium. But here is my pearl. I do not put an interproximal floss loop between the two front teeth. I just have two, each one between the central and lateral incisor on each side. I feel that if I use a central interproximal floss loop, I can get a small gap. So I do not use that interproximal floss loop. In the lower arch, when I'm using the FlexTech, I don't use any floss loops. I think if I use those floss loops in the lower arch, those gums get so puffy that you can introduce bleeding and the retainer will fail. So my technique is I simply put a dab of LR on the cingula of the lower anterior teeth. I rest the FlexTech on the teeth, I cure it, and then I do a sandwich technique and add a little bit more material over top of the retainer for aesthetics and to secure it. So let me know what you think. Retanium in the upper arch, Ortho FlexTech in the lower arch. I'm interested to hear your bonded retainer technique. Thank you guys so much for subscribing to this channel. Thank you for supporting the JCO.